LadyLucidity ASMR. Welcome. Your tutor knows that you are waiting to join the call. Please wait while we connect you. Hello everyone. Yes. Awesome. Yep, just get yourselves all sorted. I see a lot of you have got your morning tea and coffee. Yep. Sorry, it's such an early class this morning, but this was literally the only slot that I had left today. It's back-to-back classes for me, I'm afraid, so yeah, it's a bit of an early one, but yeah, I'm sure you guys will have fun. So I'm just going to give everybody else a minute or so just to get in. Who are we missing? Okay. It looks like we're missing Dean. Has anybody heard from Dean at all? He might be sick. Okay. Oh, yeah, really? He needs to ring in himself, but I can contact him later. Does anybody know if he's okay? I hope it's nothing serious. Okay, fair enough. It's fine. I will talk to HR later and make sure he's okay, obviously. Okay, in that case I think everybody's just about in. Wonderful. So good morning everybody. Again, apologies for the early start. I'm tired too, so you'll have to bear with me. So last lesson we were looking at shading. Yep, yes, so I did get a lot of your PDFs and emails with your workbooks on it. You did very, very well. I'm loving the use of different techniques, and it's really nice that you guys are starting to evolve your own styles. Yep. So today we are going to be doing, obviously still working with shading and then moving on slightly, okay? So what we're going to do first is we're going to be working with colour, okay? Yep. Yeah, don't look so nervous, all of you. So we're going to be doing the shading that we took with pen and pencil in our previous class. We're basically going to be adding some colour to it, okay? Yeah, so not everything you're going to want to produce may be black and white. You might want to start experimenting with colours in your light and shade, and obviously learning about shade and tone and again directional light is going to help you a lot in creating your work, okay? Yep, so for today's kit you're going to need your basic pencil kit, and you're going to need your I would say either watercolour pencils or just regular colouring pencils are absolutely fine. It's up to you. Yes, there will be a bit of blending as well, so you might want to get out one of your blending tools as well. Okay, so that's all good. Let's just load that up for myself. Yeah, the computer's running a little bit slow today as well, so it's one of those Monday mornings, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you guys a short video that I did earlier this week, and this will basically explain using shade and tones and stuff with different colours, alright? So I'll just share my screen and you guys can watch this video. It shouldn't take a few moments, alright? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to just show you very briefly what I mean when I talk about using colour to shade, okay? So before we were working with pencil, but I'm just going to pick one colour. So I've gone with blue for this one, okay? And you'll notice they are all varying tones of blue, okay? So I'm going to try and keep this as simple as possible, okay? I'm just going to draw a cube first of all to get our 3D shape, okay? So just very simply like that. Doesn't have to be too neat, okay? And then we're going to pick our light tone and our dark tone, okay? So our light direction is coming from this top corner here. If you remember last time we talked about directional lighting and how that affects your shadows and highlights, okay? So I'm going to use this dark navy colour for the shadowing here, so it's the opposite to where the sun is hitting, okay? And you can do a little bit of under shading here, so you can indicate shadows on your objects if you wish. And again, depending on your light direction will also depend upon the length and darkness of your shadow. Okay, so now I'm going to do my lighter blue, and I'll just pop it along here. Okay, you could also use a colour to block out the middle section and leave your light section white if you wish, but for this example we're going to be just using two colours to give our object some shading, okay? So to make our mid-tones I'm just going to use a mix of the light and the dark here, very, very roughly. Okay, so okay, very, very rough there. Okay. Now obviously you can blend this out with a little bit of water, or if you're using pure colouring pencils then you could use a blur stick to smudge your lines. Okay, so I'm just going back in with this light blue to give it a bit more of intensity towards the lighter areas. There we go. Just fill in those mid-tones there. So it gives you an idea of how you can use just colour to highlight your object's light and dark areas. Okay. I'm just going to intensify the dark blue here. Get really dark. Okay. And as time goes on, you'll finesse your techniques, again depending on the harshness of your light and all sorts of conditions. Okay, so again, using another example, just draw another 3D shape. Oh, went a little bit skew-whiff there, I apologise. Okay, and again we're going to pick two colours. Oh, there's one colour, two tones, I should say. Okay, so now I'm going to use this aqua colour, okay, which is typically a mid-range colour normally. Okay, and again, we're going to have our light source. Okay, so we're just going to again highlight our top part here. Just go along there like that, very, very roughly. And you can even use your crosshatch technique like we learnt last time for this. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to use the same pencil You can see here I'm really pressing down, intensifying that colour. So in fact I have used one tone and I've used different shade this time. So there's a lighter shade and a darker shade you can see here, but all in one colour. Right. So you can really experiment. And then we're going to use our mid-tone here. Okay, very, very roughly blend it in. Okay. So that gives you an idea. You could use just one tone of colour. Sorry, one tone of colour, and just to highlight and darken. Okay. If you want to be really abstract, you could even use opposite colours, okay, or opposing shades. So we're going to be using a round object now, okay, so again, going back to our light coloured pencil, and we're going to turn this circle here, with the light coming from the top, into a sphere, okay. So again, using that rule, use your lighter tone towards your light source and use your darker tone on the opposite side, okay? And you'll notice here that I'm starting with semicircular strokes. I'm not just going straight up and down, and then I'm stopping roughly halfway around your circle. So this other half here is going to be your dark side, okay? Really darken that outer corner. Okay, just keep going, following it round, and then shade it in. You can add a little more depth again by giving it a shadow. And then obviously if you are using paints, you can blend it. Okay. So I'm just bringing that dark tone in so we can do our mid-tones in the centre here. Okay. There we go. And then just bring it down into that shadowy area. So you can see here, we're giving it a nice 3D effect simply by using our 3 shading, okay? If you feel like the object needs some highlight, you can always add some more white into it. And later on in this series of classes, I'll be showing you how to use your highlight in paint. Okay. For now, I'm just going to cover this roughly in a white layer. And then just intensify that dark, really make it harsh, okay, and just blend out these colours, okay. So you can see our 3 examples here, and they're all using tones of blue. So as I said earlier, if you want to be really abstract with your shading, you could use 2 completely different colours to do this technique with as well. You can get some really nice effects from shading your pictures in 2 contrasting colours as well. So I'm going to show you that next. So again, we're going to draw our simple 3D shape, just like that. Nothing too specific, just our little box, and we're going to go with this really bright orange tone and then this lime green, so 2 very odd colours to put together, but you'll see how this works. Again, using our rule of 3, I'm going to use the orange as my shadow tone, making it really dark and deep, and just bringing it forward into the mid-tone, this side here. And then we'll take our lime green. This is going to be my highlight. Okay. And then we'll just use it on this outer edge here. And this is where the light would be hitting my object. Okay. And again, bring it to the middle to make our mid-tones. Okay. So I've done this all very, very roughly. Obviously yours will probably be somewhat neater. You can take your time, but it's a really simple technique to get some definition and some light and shadow into your work, especially if you're drawing from still life or anything that has a real life light source. Okay. So I hope this has been helpful to you all. I will see you in the next part of our class. Okay. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah. So, what did you guys think of the video? Did it help at all? Yep, good. Okay, so I do have a downloadable version in note form as a PDF, which I will be sending to every one of you this week, okay? So if there's anything that you missed in the video or you'd like to recap on at all at a later date, then obviously you've got that PDF to read, alright? Yeah, so I'll be sending that at the end of class. It's just, yep, so that's all ready to go. So the next part of today's lesson, we're going to be talking about obviously your basics of colour, okay? So let's just, so can you guys see this all okay? Wonderful. Okay, so I've done a very brief chart, and obviously this is very, very simplified, just to give you the basics, okay? So everybody should know there are 3 primary colours, okay? So you have your yellow, red and blue. Let me just get my pointer here, there we go. So you've got your yellow, red and blue, okay? And those are your primary colours. So this is where pretty much most colours will start from, alright? And then we're going to talk about sort of colour mixing, which comes in your secondary colours, okay? So you've got your primary colours and your secondary colours, okay? So orange comes from mixing your red and your yellow. Yep. You've got green, which comes from yellow and blue. And of course, my favourite, you have purple. Now purple comes from a mixture of blue and red, okay? So depending on your tone of red or blue or yellow will then obviously affect your green, your orange and your purple, okay? So I'll explain that a little bit as we go further down, alright? Now when it comes to black and white, there is a slight difference with colour mixing in paint as it is for light, okay? So you may have done working with prisms, rainbows, light rays, yep, in science class. So for colour mixing, white is actually the absence of every colour, whereas if you shine a light through a prism, it is every colour, yeah. So black is obviously the negative in light form, so when you take away a light source or a colour source in light form, it will be black, yeah. So just like when you turn your lights off in your rooms, once you've lost your light, everything goes black, okay? But when it comes to colour mixing, black is actually a mix of every colour, okay? So you would take your primary and your secondary colours together, and that makes black, another couple of extra colours are brown, and brown is quite special because it too is a mixture of primary and secondary colours. Okay, so brown is made by mixing red and green. Okay, now you can kind of cheat as well. You can also make some really nice greys, and grey is typically mixed with white and black, but you can in fact make grey from green and purple. I know, it's a bit of a special one, isn't it? Okay, so those are your basic sort of colour mixes. Now, when it comes to getting the right shade or tone of colour, I'm just going to zoom this in a bit for you guys. Okay, so these will be phrases that you're going to hear me speak about a lot in this class, so quite important. Now, the shade of a colour depends on how much dark or black or how much white or light is in it. Okay, so you'll see here by this example, this is just your standard purple colour. This is the darkest with the most black in it, and then as we go down you'll see it has more of a lilac shade to it, and that is because it has the most white in it. Okay, when it comes to tone, I don't know if you can see this. This is a red toned purple, or a warm tone, and this is a blue toned purple, or a cool tone. Okay, so for example, you can get obviously warm greens. You can even get cooler red colours. So this burgundy colour here would actually be classed as a cool tone red. Okay, whereas if it had more orange in it, it would be a warm tone red. Okay, so that gives you a rough idea, and again I will be putting this into a PDF form for you guys so you can study this at home as well. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down here, and so okay, so if you think about it in tonal form, so again this would be more of a cool tone because it's more of a blue, and then you can see the contrast. You've got your warmer colour, which is this lighter green. Okay, and again with the reds, this is a burgundy, so this would be a blue or a cool toned colour because it has more blue put into it. Okay, and then you'll see here this is like a true red, so it has more orange and yellows in it. Okay, and so you've probably seen things like this before with colour matching to colour to clothing, stylists and such. So you've got your cooler tones and your warmer tones. Alright, so if you're ever confused if a colour is a warm or a cool tone, think, does it look like it has more red in it, or does it have more blue in it? Okay, so the way I look at these is I know that my skin is a cool tone, so usually I can put tones next to my skin and see which one is a cool or a red. Okay, so obviously you guys don't have this in your starter kits, but you can buy these from the art shop on campus. Okay, yep, so once we reopen, you can grab a set of these yourselves to use as like a cheat sheet, I guess you could say. Alright, so yeah, so again, even sort of pinks and other mixtures of colours even have their own ones. So you've got the cool tone here and your warm tone here. Okay, so many colours. Alright guys, so I hope that helped you a little bit with your colour mixing and your use of colour and tone in whatever you're drawing. Okay, so as I said, I will be sending over your PDFs for the cheat sheets. Alright, so just make sure I set that up now for you guys. So is there any questions before we finish today's class? Okay, yeah, good question. So your assignment for this week is going to be to take one colour, just one colour, and by using different tones of that colour, so remember mixing your blue or your red into that colour, I want you to try and create a 3D shape using those, okay? So if I just grab my cheat sheet again. So you can choose obviously any colour you like, it can be red, green or what have you. Just remember the tones, okay? So for example, if you take your green, you can use a warm or a cool tone. Alright? And obviously you can put in as much black or white as you like. You can go crazy, there are so many tones you could get with colour mixing, alright? Any other questions? Okay, so when it comes to the assignment, you can use crayons, pencils, you can even use some of your acrylic or gouache paints. Yep, I just want to see a full page of, even if it's small, like cubes or anything like that, it could be one big piece that you've done. Just, I would say stick to A3 as a max size, okay? So yeah, I just want to see pictures from your workbooks again of what you've been working on for the next week, alright? Yep, and you guys all have my email address from last time. Fabulous. Okay, so I will send all those PDFs over to you guys and I will book you all in for the next lesson. Alright, well I hope you guys have a really good day. Go drink your tea and coffee and wake up a bit, and I shall see you all next week. Alright, goodbye everybody's. Yes, bye-byes. Bye. Bye-byes. Yep. Yes, say hi to Dean for me. Yep, alright, goodbyes. Okay, let's get those sent over now. Fabulous. Okay.